So you're probably curious about living longer, staying healthier, and maybe you want to get straight to the cutting-edge science, right?
Absolutely. People are always looking for that edge.
Well, get this. Today we're doing a deep dive into the, uh, frankly, mind-blowing biology of the naked mole rat.
Ah, the NMR. A fascinating little creature.
Exactly. Forget wading through tons of research. Our mission here is simple. Pull out the most interesting, potentially game-changing secrets these animals hold about aging. We're drawing from some really compelling work exploring their unique traits.
And they are definitely unique. I mean, the contrast is just stark. You have your average mouse, maybe lives 3 years.
If that, yeah.
Right. Then you have the naked mole rat sailing past 30 years. 30. And they're not just alive, they're healthy, they're reproducing. Females giving birth past 25 years old. It's extraordinary.
It really is. So, okay, what's the secret sauce? What's happening inside their cells?
Well, the research points to a few key things working together. It seems they have really, really efficient DNA repair, like much better than ours.
So they fix damage faster, basically.
Exactly. And their proteins, they seem more stable, less prone to, misfolding or breaking down. Plus, their mitochondria, the cell's power plants, are just incredibly resilient.
Okay, robust power supply. Makes sense.
And on top of that, they're apparently masters at cellular housekeeping, clearing out damaged proteins and other junk that accumulates with age.
So it's like their cells have multiple layers of defense against aging. Better repair, stable parts, clean house.
That's a great way to put it. It's this combination that likely keeps their cells functioning well for so much longer.
And this probably ties into their famous cancer resistance too, doesn't it? It's almost legendary how rarely they get tumors.
It is. And one really interesting mechanism seems to involve something called high molecular mass, hyaluronan.
Okay, hyaluronan, I've heard of that in like skincare, but high molecular mass.
Right, same basic molecule, but in naked mole rats, it's much, much larger, much longer chains. And the thinking is this big, gooey molecule fills the space between cells and physically prevents them from packing too closely together. It enforces personal space for cells, you could say.
Preventing overcrowding, which prevents tumors from starting.
That seems to be the idea. It's called contact inhibition, but supercharged. And researchers actually did experiments where they reduced this specific hyaluronan.
Then what happened?
They became more susceptible to cancer. It strongly suggests this molecule is a key player in their defense. It's a really cool kind of structural anti-cancer mechanism.
Wow. Okay, that's wild. What about their brains? Do they stay sharp?
The evidence is pointing that way, yeah. It's still preliminary, but there are suggestions they might keep generating new neurons, neurogenesis, even into adulthood.
Which is pretty rare for mammals, isn't it?
Very rare. It implies their brains might maintain more plasticity, more adaptability throughout their long lives. Think about the implications for human cognitive decline.
Definitely. Okay, and then there's that. That crazy oxygen thing. Surviving without O2 for, what, almost 20 minutes?
Up to 18 minutes, yeah. It's incredible. They live in these crowded, stuffy burrows, so it's a vital adaptation.
How do they even do that?
They flip a metabolic switch. Instead of relying on glucose with oxygen, they start metabolizing fructose anaerobically, much like plants or some invertebrates do.
Fructose, like fruit sugar.
Exactly. And crucially, this process seems to generate far fewer damaging byproducts, less oxidative stress than trying to run normal metabolism without oxygen. It protects their tissues.
So it's a survival mechanism that also reduces damage. Makes sense.
And could hold clues for protecting human organs during events like stroke or heart attack where oxygen is cut off.
Right, right. And speaking of weird adaptations, they don't feel certain kinds of pain, like acid or chili pepper burn.
Correct. They lack the typical response to acid and capsaicin. It's thought this helps them tolerate the high carbon dioxide levels in their burrows, which would cause a burning sensation for us.
But could that insensitivity also link to aging? Maybe less chronic inflammation?
That's a very compelling idea. Chronic inflammation is a huge driver of age-related diseases. If their system inherently dampens certain inflammatory signals, perhaps related to pain pathways, that could contribute significantly to their health span. It's an active area of research.
Okay, one more piece. Their metabolic rate.
That's
It's low,
low, right?
Yes, significantly lower than you'd expect for their size. They basically run their engines cooler, slower.
Like idling instead of racing. Less wear and tear over time.
Precisely. A lower metabolic rate generally means less production of reactive oxygen species and other metabolic byproducts that damage cells. It's a well-known correlation with longevity across many species.
So putting it all together, and the big aha moment here is that it's not just one magic bullet.
Not at all.
It's this whole suite of interconnected adaptations, the DNA repair, the stable proteins, the hyaluronan, the low metabolism, the oxygen trick, maybe even the pain thing. It all works together.
Exactly. The naked mole rat is like a masterclass in longevity, a natural experiment showing us multiple ways to resist aging and disease by digging into their biology.
And we're finding these fundamental mechanisms. And the hope is eventually we can translate some of these insights into ways to improve human health span, whether through drugs, gene therapies, or other approaches.
It's incredible. This deep dive really shows how this, well, frankly, weird little creature holds potentially profound clues for us.
It really does.
It definitely makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
What other secrets are hidden in plain sight in organisms we might normally overlook? What else out there could rewrite our understanding of basic biology? Something to ponder for sure.